a kind of virtual head which tracks your movement. We are combining creativity with technology.
I don't know why, but it's starting to look little like Michael Jackson's hat. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Curious Minds podcast. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different because I don't entirely know what we're creating. But when Trisha says it's going to be interested, I'm all in. Hey Trisha, last time you mentioned something exciting. So what are we diving into today?
Hey Kshithij, I've been really looking forward to this one. Today, we are combining creativity with technology as we explore 3D modeling and augmented reality. We'll start in Blender, where I'll model a detailed cowboy hat, complete with a ribbon. Then we'll bring that into Lens Studio and use AR to place the hat directly on my head. To complete the look, I'm also adding a pair of sleek sunglasses from the asset library.
So let me get this straight. You're going to build a cowboy hat from scratch, position it on my head using AR and add sunglasses to the mix? Now I need to see that. Let's get into it, Trisha.
Great! Now before we get started, let me share my screen so you all can see what I'm doing and follow along. Welcome to Blender, our creative playground for today. Now to get started creating our cowboy hat, we need a base model or shape that we're going to use and build upon. So for creating a hat, we need a cylinder, right? And now you can see we have a cube. So let's delete this default cube from Blender and add in a cylinder. Now let us move the cylinder to the base of the grid, meaning I want it to sit on top of the grid, not being in the center of the grid like this. It should be sitting on top of the grid. So now to do that, let's go to front view and move it up. Let's go to face select and select the top face. And now let's press GZ and move it down. So we're trying to reduce the height. And I think about that much is good. Now what I want to do is I want to create the brim. Now you might be wondering what's the brim. So for those who don't know the brim is basically the big part or the expanded part of a hat. Now you know a hat looks something like this as you can see in the screen. So there is the top part of the hat which is small, which you place on top of your head, and you can see the big part of the hat which is like surrounding your head, right? That is called the brim. Okay, so now that we've understood what a brim is, let's create it. Now let's select the bottom face of our hat. Let's extrude it down and let me scale it up. I think about this much is good for the brim, right Kshithij?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, let's just scale it a little down because I think it's a bit too much. Or let's scale it a bit up. Yeah, that much is good. Now guys, let us do some beveling. So before we do the beveling, let's make sure that the top part of our hat is a little smaller. So you know in this area, the top face should be a little bit smaller so that it's kind of like a triangle, right? So let's make it a little smaller and move it a little down. About this much is good. Let's bevel this about that much because I don't want it to be too smooth or too hard. So I think about this much is perfect. Now let us select everything and then deselect it. And let's select this edge loop in the middle. Now let's bevel that as well. About this much. Looks nice. Okay, now let's select this outer loop and let us scale it down. Move it a little bit down using proportional editing. Something like this. And I think that's good, isn't it, Kshithij?
Yeah, that looks pretty good. I can already see the shape coming together. Are we adding a ribbon too? It needs that finishing touch, right?
Yes, absolutely. we are going to add a ribbon to this. Now to do that, let us select a face loop which we want to become the future ribbon. So I think this edge loop is perfect. Or maybe this edge loop. Which one do you think is perfect, Kshithij? This edge loop?
I think the first one is good.
First one, okay. Let's just move it a little bit down because I think it's a little too up. Something like that. And now let us duplicate this by pressing Shift D. And let's press Alt E and press extrude faces along normals. And now let us extrude it. So we want it to be only a little thick. About that much. Okay, so as you can see, I have adjusted our hat a little bit and I just moved this a little down, scaled it so that it's a little more better. Now one thing we need to do is delete this bottom face or else it will be just flat and you can't really place your hat on top of your head, right? So let's just press delete faces and now you can see it's like a proper hat. Great. Now let's start adding the materials. So let's head over to viewport shading, which is the material mode. And now on the material properties tab, let us press new. And let's name this material hat. Hat base. And now let's change the base color to some light yellow / orangish color. Something like that. Now let us change the color of the ribbon. So let's head over to edit mode and let's select this face loop. Press Ctrl plus to select more. And now let us create a new material and call this ribbon. And let's assign it to the ribbon material and change its color to black. Now that looks cool, right?
Yeah, that looks like Luffy's straw hat from One Piece.
Oh yeah, correct. Monkey D. Luffy, right?
Yeah.
Correct. You're right actually. It looks like Luffy's straw hat. That's nice. So now it's time to export this and place it into Lens Studio. Are you ready for this, Kshithij?
Yes, I am.
Great. So now let us select our hat, head over to File, Export, and we're going to export this as an FBX. So let me quickly export it and head over to Lens Studio. Okay, so as you can see, I'm in Lens Studio. Now let me upload our 3D cowboy hat. In the resources panel, let me press this plus button and press from files. Okay, so as you can see, when I'm importing, you can see that a pop-up like this is gonna open up. Now I think we'll just go with the default settings and press import. Okay, so now you can see that our cowboy hat has been imported. Let's drag and drop it into our objects panel inside the camera. And as you can see, this is how our model looks like. Now, if you notice, the color of the hat has for some reason changed, right? Well, that is because in Blender, when we were viewing it in material mode, there was some automatic lighting that was applied to it, which made it brighter, thus changing the color of it. Well, the actual color of the model was actually this. So, what we can do is, because we named it properly, we can just change the color over here. So let's go under materials, hat base, and let's change the base color to something that we like. Now I think we can make it a little lighter. Something like, isn't that good, Kshithij?
Yeah, now it looks like Luffy's straw hat.
Correct. So now let us attach this to our head because right now it's big and we can't even see it, right? You can see
Like,
that.
yeah, you're right. It is so massive.
Correct. It's very massive. It's giant. It's like it's supposed to be a hat for a giant. But we want it for a normal human. So let us attach it to a head binding. Now you might ask, what's an head binding? Well, it's basically a kind of virtual head which tracks your movement. Whatever you do, moving your head like this, moving your head like this, whatever movement you do with your head, the head binding is gonna track that. So now, to add an head binding, let's press the plus icon in the objects panel, go to mesh, and we add head binding. So let's press head binding. And now our head binding has been added. Now you can see in our camera, nothing has changed. Okay, now let's drag and drop the cowboy hat under inside the head binding. So just drag and drop it. And now you might be wondering, where is it? Well, like I said before, this hat is massive. So we need to scale it down. And to scale it down, we just select it and press this scale icon. And now let us scale it from all the axes. We want to make it very small. You can see now it's starting to show up. There it is. So you can see it is still not working that well. You can see it's not positioned. So to position it, you can see we have this weird face shape over here, right? Well, that is kind of where your face is positioned. So we can just position our hat on top of the face mesh over here.
Yeah, before it was massive and now it's super small, right?
Yeah, that's so. But that's funny. Now let's adjust it
Okay,
properly.
now go down. Okay, still not good. Yes, just like
I
that.
think we need to move it a little more back, right?
Yes.
And then take down.
Move. I think you should move it more back. Yes.
I think a little more bigger. Oh, and I think we should rotate it so that it doesn't cover my forehead, right?
Yeah, you should do that. I don't know why, but it's starting to look little like Michael Jackson's hat.
Yeah, you're right. I know, because of how big it is.
Yeah. Especially with that black strip.
I think because our hat is not that thick and it's flat, when we move our hat up and down, it's a little bad. So I think what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna hop back into Blender and we're gonna quickly fix the thickness of our hat. Okay? And once I'm done increasing the thickness of it, I'll catch you back. Okay guys, so as you can see, I have re-imported our cowboy hat and now it's way better. You can see the thickness of the hat, none of those overlapping issues are happening. It's so good. Now one thing I forgot to do was change the color. So let me again quickly do it. Okay, I think that's good, right?
Yeah, that looks nice.
Now,
there is just one part remaining, right?
yes, which is the sleek sunglasses. So let
Yes.
me head over to the asset library of Lens Studio. And here in the asset library, as you can see, there are many things. You can see there's a 3D makeup helper and left or right hand detection. There are lots of 3D models and different things. So let us just search for glasses. And which one do you want, Kshithij?
I think the first one looks really nice. Let's add that.
Okay. So now this is actually a pack, so we need to choose which one we like the most out of the pack. So we'll decide that
Okay.
later after downloading it. Okay, now that it's imported, let's drag and drop our sunglasses pack into our camera. So as you can see, there are many sunglass options. And I think we can choose which one do you want, Kshithij?
I think the first one looks nice.
Okay, fine. Then let me just remove the other two from here. And now let's place the sunglasses back inside our head binding. You can see it's already so
Yeah.
big. Let us just place it properly. Okay. Wow, our sunglasses is positioned now. That's nice, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks so amazing now.
Correct.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning into the Curious Minds podcast. And also, make sure you try out the AR for yourself. And don't forget to drop what you like the most about it in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious, stay creative, and keep building amazing things. Bye.